Jemuli, I'm back again nga bulijjo. Eva tubeera mu kuyiga naye nga mulimu gy'aba bestie. Subire muli fine. Today I'm back again with the topic about ignorance. Ignorance. But before we begin, what is ignorance? If someone tells you about ignorance, what comes in your mind? What comes in your mind? Ignorance. Being ignorant, wallah, it is not easy. It is not good. Because ignorance is the state of being uninformed, or being uneducated, or being unaware. It signifies a lack of knowledge. Ulakinga obwongo obw'okutegeera. That is ignorance. Being ignorant signifies a lack of knowledge or understanding or information about a particular subject or in general. Okay, in general, ignorance is the state of being uninformed, uneducated, or unaware. It signifies a lack of knowledge, understanding, or information about a particular subject in general. Okay, ignorance is often misunderstood as a lack of intelligence, but it is better defined as a lack of unawareness. It is the space between what you know and what we could know. Okay, it is the space. I'm about ignorant or ignorance. It is the space between what we know and what we could know. Ignorance is not a permanent state. No, it's not a permanent state. It is a temporary condition that acts as a permanent, that acts as a gatekeeper, sorry. Okay? It is a temporary condition that acts as a gatekeeper to growth. Mumbeere ya bulijjo y'okukula. Kikola nga gatekeeper. Oba okitegeera. Tuli ffenna. Yes. It acts as a temporary condition, a gatekeeper to the growth. When we remain ignorant, we limit our world to the size of our own current perspective. To the size of our own current perspective. When we choose to be confronted, we expand the horizons of our understanding and empathy. But how do we overcome ignorance? How do we overcome being ignorant? I've come with some three. I will call them the pillars. 3 pillars. I've come with the 3 pillars of overcoming ignorance. Number 1, I will start to transition from a state of not knowing to a state of wisdom. We must cultivate 3 specific practices. Practice number 1, or pillar number 1, the courage of admit. The courage of admit. Here, the greatest barrier to knowledge is the pretense of knowing. Pretense of knowing. Admitting the word I don't know. That word. It is not a sign of weakness. It is the fundamental starting point of all education. It is an act of intelligence, honesty, that clears the path for true discovery. Tuli ffenna bantu bange. Tuwuliriza ate nga bwe tuyiga. Listen as you are learning. As you pick something, you go with it. Point number 2, the discipline of curiosity. The discipline of curiosity. Here, Ignorance. Dismantled by questions, not assertions. Treat every unknown as a puzzle rather than a threat. When you encounter an idea or concept that challenges you, move towards it with the question. I repeat, when you encounter an idea or a concept that challenges you, move towards it with the question. Okay, what can I learn from this? Or what do we learn from this? Instead of retreating into the comfort of what you already believe. Point number 3. It is the humanity of perspective. We often suffer from the blind spot effect. We are unaware of what we don't know. By intentionally seeking out diverse voices, reading widely, and listening to those whose experiences differ from our own, we gain the necessary perspectives to identify our own gaps in knowledge. A lesson in growth. The parable of the empty cup. The parable of the empty cup. This is an example to show you about ignorant or ignorance. Once there was a student. A student once went to a master to learn about the nature of truth. The master began to pour the tea into the student's cup. He poured until the cup was full. He poured the tea in the cup until the cup was full. Then he kept on pouring until the tea overflowed onto the table. Stop! And the students continued shouting, "Stop, stop!" And then he cried, "The cup is full, and no more tea will go in." But the master set down the pot and said, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and conclusions. How can I show you the truth unless you first empty your cup?" The shift from judgment to understanding. Ignorance is the root of much of the world's passionate struggle. The shift from judgment to understanding ignorance is the root of much of the world's conflict. When we are ignorant of another person's struggles, culture, or motivations, it is easy to default to judgment. However, education is the ultimate bridge. By choosing to replace judgment with inquiring, you transform a potential conflict into an opportunity for connection. Ignorance keeps us isolated. Seeking understanding brings us into the community. Are we together? Lastly, but not the least, true intelligence is not measured by how much you have already gathered, but by your willingness to continue learning even when it requires you to change your mind. I repeat, true intelligence is not measured by how much you have already gathered, but by your willingness to continue learning even when it requires you to change your mind. Go with this. The anatomy of ignorance. Today the anatomy I will give you about ignorance. 1. Lack of knowledge. Missing specific facts or experience. Anatomy number 2. Lack of awareness. Failing to perceive something that exists. And last, willful ignorance. The active choice to avoid conflicting information. God bless you so much, my people. Meet you again in another video. See you.